Dreadful performance from the New York Yankees. They went out and acquired a third baseman, or otherwise known as third baseman Yo. So that is locked down. But kind of what we've been saying on this show today, how it is funny how the last week or so, it felt like it was a perfect encapsulation about why the Yankees need to prioritize a defensive third baseman. But today, and really for a while now, really just showed you how much. It was a full-on showcase, but in the worst way, of how bad this bullpen really is. You had, I don't even remember who the last, light the cigar guy was. I don't even remember his name. They've just had some random dudes in the bullpen. I know somebody in the comment section will remind me, but today, who had that duty was Scott Efros, who they acquired in 2021, I'm pretty sure. I'm out on him. I'm out on everybody that's not named Luke Weaver and Devin Williams. I know Luke Weaver gave up the home run today, but those are the only two that I like in this bullpen. Everyone else can go. Tim Hill literally can't go because he's the only lefty they have. But aside from that, Gary, really frustrating day. They should have won this game. I know that sounds weird looking at 12-5, but you scored 5 runs. This is getting a little ridiculous. Will Warren gave you a decent outing. I would say pretty good outing, all things considered. Just really, really pathetic. And I keep reading, well, the good thing is Cashman knows he needs a bullpen. Oh, well, how does that help me today?
Who said that?
Well, I saw Martino drop it, so...
Hey, it's a good thing, guys. It's so bad in a certain area of the field that the additions are obvious. Not really a good thing. And by the way, Jake, the bullpen ERA since June 28th, 7.02. 7.02. And I know ERA is sort of like diluted the game. 7.02. They've given up 64 runs in 82 innings of work. And by the way, you want to know the kicker of this number? Yeah. That number's coming before tonight.
Oh, no.
So I actually was walking into today's game having known these numbers, having written down these numbers, having saved them. And then we played a game like this. This Yankees team, by the way, I understand that the deadline is about 6 days away. Mm-hmm. The Yankees can't spend another 24 hours without massive improvements. I know the guy used in Duran in the thumbnail. The Yankees need a monstrous splash in the bullpen. Monstrous. They can't survive another day and a half with this. They cannot. No. And by the way, let's just say, hypothetically, this Yankees team and Brian Cashman thinks it's so obvious, right? And we're going to agree with that report, that it's a good thing somehow, that it's clear as day what the Yankees need, right? Filled third base. I obviously didn't love the pickup to begin with. Didn't get a chance to come on the show and express that.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a great day. So,
oh man.
But the bullpen, let's just say the Yankees go get 2 solid relievers that you wouldn't call great, but they're just solid relievers. The Yankees are honestly like 5 arms short.
They
5.
They
are legitimately, I would say safely, I would say there are 3 players in our bullpen who are absolutely should be DFA'd tonight. 3 of them.
Without a doubt.
And then you can argue there may be 4. We genuinely, you mentioned Weaver, and yes, like he gave up runs. Luke Weaver's not the same pitcher. He's just not. He's not even close to the same arm that he was. I know the ERA is still highly serviceable. No. It's in the low 3s. He's not the same pitcher. Okay, Devin
but he's
Williams,
good enough to be in the bullpen.
Absolutely. He can be part of a solution as a unit.
Hamilton, I'm done with. Efros, I never started with Efros. I was never like, oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no. I still don't know how Ottavino never got a call back. He pitched twice, looked good.
How about David Robertson?
Never again.
We mentioned signed for $6 million. And the
money
Yankees
was the
were
reason.
Like, oh no, we can't do that, right? The Yankees' biggest problem, which is now reporters are saying it's clear as day, the Yankees' biggest problem is their bullpen. Yet David Robertson goes out and signs for money, right? Just straight money, no prospects, $6 million. Then you fast forward days, right? And they bring in Ryan McMahon, who can't hit a lick, right? But he's a good fielder. And they said, well, we gave up nothing to get him. No, you did give up something. You gave up $16 million next year and the following year. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, why should I give a rip if we're spending $16 million? And I would agree with you until you find out that the Yankees run a tight ship. Brian Cashman has orders. You spend X amount of dollars. So understand, guys, when we make a trade and you bring in big money, I know we don't care, but that money's coming from somewhere. When we go into the winter this year, we have $16 million less dollars to spend.
Did you catch that live stream earlier?
No, I didn't. What's up?
No, when I was in the live stream and someone was like, it's not your money to spend. I'm like, it is our money because this is ultimately what is going to represent our team, right? And they self-impose a cap. Sorry.
If there's a cap, technically speaking, if a dollar's spent incorrectly, it impacts you on the back end. It's
Absolutely.
as simple as day. This is the way it works. It's the way it works. The Yankees look at it as they bring in a player and they say, all right, you got $10 to spend. You spend $7, a fan will say, well, why should I care if they spend $7? It's not my money. Well, you need to know that they're going to spend $3 this offseason. Understand that. Just know it. So when you're looking at Kyle Tucker, right, there are some people who want the Yankees to sell. I see it in the comment section. And guys, we will get to these super chats. There are people mentioning selling, right? And I want people to understand what selling is. Selling is you're going to sell the assets that other teams want so you can reload for the future. What players are those? Which players are those, Jake?
Yeah, sell the assets. So you're talking about, because that's the thing, is that if you're selling, right, you would be selling guys like Grisham. You'd be trying to trade guys like Stroman and Stanton.
What would you get, by the way? So people have been asking for Stan to be off the roster for a while.
Now we know Stanton could actually bring something in because McMahon brought something in. So
So the real question is, what would we get for Marcus Stroman? What would we get for Trent Grisham? What would we get, say, for people are like, no, I want to hang on to the young guys. Dominguez, Jones.
Pitching prospects.
That's all you got. A lot of what we have, and this is not a problem as long as you're spending, we've got veteran players. Aaron Judge is in his 30s. Cody Bellinger is now in his 30s, just turned 30 last week, right? Everyone wants him back, understandably so. Paul Goldschmidt, who's actually had a pretty nice season so far for the Yankees, is 37. So when people say to sell, I'm like, well, what pieces are you talking about? Are you talking about Will Warren?
And you want Cashman? You want Cashman selling.
Yeah, I did mention that. I'm just not sure on this.
Yeah, I'll say this right now, okay? I do think they lost something. It's not just the money, because it's $36.5 million, which, by the way, $36.5 million, and then you add $30 million on top of that, DJ LeMahieu, and now we're talking about $65.5 million that they're paying to one position, and they're only getting one player. So they told us no Bregman. I'm not going to get into it. I understand some people are tired of hearing about Bregman. He's on the Red Sox, whatever. I get it. But that said, they told us they didn't get him because of money. They didn't go after him because of money. That's what we were told. Right. Well, then they're like, oh, well, this guy who can't hit in Colorado, and it really, think about this, and this is how I'm looking at it. When we mentioned the other night, it was Jim Bowden's interview, and he was on Foul Territory, and Jim had mentioned the Yankees analytic department didn't like Hayes. That concerned me because I made a joke. Oh yeah, well I like Hayes more because I think the Yankees analytic department is all over this move for McMahon. They like his exit.
Well, Jack Curry had the opposite report. That's what's so interesting to me. Jack Curry came out, mind you, yes, and he's on Yes Network right now, and saying the Yankees don't love the options of Suarez, Hayes, McMahon. Yep. Where's that coming from? Honestly,
I think he was given bad info. That's what I think.
But how are we getting bad information?
Well, think about it. So all of a sudden they get Ryan McMahon on July 25th, right? If they didn't like any of their options and that was out there, why did they like hustle as if this was a great move and the Rockies were picking up all the money? And
yeah,
by the
usually
way,
if a deal, there's like two reasons that a deal happens
Yeah.
so fast. Either the deal is just so good for you that you just have to pull the trigger right
Exactly.
away, or
The Jazz deal.
player in Peraza is so bad that you just have to come up with a solution right away.
And
So
I just didn't think, as bad as Peraza is offensively, it's not like he's a terrible glove. So you've already been kind of dealing with him. I would have just held out another week. They could have held. You know what I will say? They can hold out another week at third base. They can't hold out another week in the bullpen. That is clear as day. They are not going to lose games strictly at third base. They're losing games strictly through their bullpen. Okay, they are. So that's an issue of mine, and you know that's the thing, and it's just it is frustrating because also on the McMahon side, the idea like when people are like, oh, you didn't trade anything, I understand he's a prospect, I understand we won't see him for a minute, but Griffin Herring is the fastest riser in their entire farm system. He went up 20 spots. He is very much in play. Like next year, he could have been a top 5 prospect for the Yankees. So they did trade something. You might not be as high on him. You might just say, well, he's in single A. I don't care. That's fine. But let's not act like he's chopped liver. The Rockies knew what they
honestly,
were doing.
you could have taken him out the trade. I still didn't like the trade. I'm taking on money.
I agree with you.
So when
I
people
totally
say
agree
the
with you.
Yankees should sell, the Yankees should sell. Also, what comes with selling, and this is true on their part, is money can potentially come off the books, right? And I see it in the comment section from YOLO, Goldie, Grisham, Weaver, Williams, right? Some guys you can sell on. How much do you guys think you're getting for these players?
I know.
You're not getting a ton. You're actually not.
And Slim
And
here
mind
is so
you-
right. They need 3 more great. I agree. They need 3. I know they're probably going to get 2, Gary. They need 3.
Yeah, so Slim Lewis with the 2. Slim, thank you. Obviously, Slim Lewis is more of tough love. More of, I'm trying to look at things from a realistic point of view. And when you look at the Yankees, right now what they're selling us is that Fernando Cruz's absence is looming large. And to which I say, how is it possible that you came into the year, into 2025, with a pitcher that you traded for, who had a dismal ERA, and you were banking on fixing him, which they did, by the way, and we absolutely gave them credit for hours at a time. That player in his absence is your entire thing just comes down like a straw house. Your bullpen. This is just poor roster construction, by the way.
Oh, it's awful.
Which is why a lot of people say, no, Brian Cashman is a major, major problem for this organization.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we've had no indication that he's going to go anywhere. I don't think anybody in our comment section, regardless of what they think we should do, I don't know if there's anyone who has confidence that even if he did do a bad job this year, even if he did make the wrong decisions, and this Yankees team, which by the way, they're 5.5 games back of Toronto, 5.5. If we lose this
Toronto's
division,
leading the MLB.
and you know what?
We're in a simulation. I don't know.
No one bothers me. That doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me is how comfortable people are in their roles. And I understand it. There are a lot of people who cover this team who just don't want to call for anybody's job. I'm not calling out any names. I'm not going to do that. But the bottom line is we all have jobs. And if you don't do it good enough, especially for what the expectations are, you should feel some type of pressure. And that pressure in turn should force you to be aggressive coming into the deadline, to the point now where our fans, Jake, are saying to sell. The New York Yankees need to sell heading into 2026. You're not selling any free agents on that future. It's really bad.
Yeah, I don't buy the whole sell thing. The only thing, it's not even selling, because that's you're not a seller is somebody that doesn't want what they have. They want it gone, right? But like if you were to sell Grisham, for instance, you're not a seller. You're not buying and selling. You're just moving an asset and trying to acquire, take advantage of a surplus and try to acquire more in an area of need. That's all you're doing. I would call it a reconsolidation, not like selling. But they're not actually going to sell.
The only candidate to do that, really, and that's not even a sell job.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, and let's just say you trade Trent Grisham, and mind you, I think it might be even too late to this point. Let's just say you trade Trent Grisham.
They got
So you
calls
send them
on
to the
them
San
today.
Diego Padres. The San Diego Padres have a surplus of bullpen arms, right?
Your mom's
Obviously,
happy
that
for
should take interest of the Yankees. Well, if we swap for a bullpen arm for Trent Grisham, that means Jason Dominguez is now playing every single day. Well, we're selling on Trent Grisham, but we're bringing in a reliever. So what are we actually trying to do? We're still trying to compete. That's why we're making that move. So there's no sale. There's no such thing as a sale for the Yankees. You're either going to stay where we are or we're going up another level. Because right now, the Blue Jays are far and away a better team than us. They're a better baseball team. You mentioned the coaching. You mentioned the fundamentals, the defense, the trust that guys are going to make the right play. And also, by the way, just the ability to put the ball in play and play a different brand of baseball every day to try and win. The Yankees aren't doing that. It's an uninspiring brand of baseball that I don't want anyone to give up on, because obviously that's what this podcast is about, is trying to instill confidence in what we're doing. But man, Jake, this is, I don't know how Brian Cashman can look at this and say, oh, I'll wait till Sunday and see what they say. You don't have that type of time.
So I don't know if it was Dontrell Willis or the other announcer whose name is totally escaping me, but on Apple TV Plus broadcast, I like that they brought up the Astros, because the whole sentiment was that the Astros have been going through, hell and back with these injuries, and they're just
right.
winning games. They're just finding ways to do it. And then, Aaron Boone, they brought up Aaron Boone, and he said he actually kind of deflected the defense. I don't know if you caught this. He deflected the defense and kind of was like, yeah, our bullpen's pretty injured. Like, basically, I'm not actually quoting him, but the summary was deflecting the defense. Our bullpen is struggling right now because we're injured. I don't want to hear it. It's, as you said, it's poor roster construction. Well, it's Yeri De Los Santos.
De Los Santos? Are you kidding me?
No. I'm just telling you who's injured. So De Los Santos, Cruz, and Mark Leiter Jr. And
that's nothing.
To be fair, all three of those guys have contributed and shown that they can be pieces in this bullpen. So I'm not going to say it's nothing, but here's my issue, right? You see other teams working through it, like the Houston Astros. This is on Cashman. To your point, the roster construction. And by the way, I'm not even saying, Gary, the 26-man roster construction. I'm talking about the 40-man, because the 40-man roster is an extension of the 26. The 40-man is truly what your depth is. So I'm getting
restless listening to this.
But you get my point, though.
I do get your point. They're mentioning injuries,
he hasn't
Jake.
Built a good enough 40. And this is almost every year, dude. Almost every year we're talking about how the 40 doesn't have enough this, doesn't have enough this. If your homework assignment is finish the assignment, Brian Cashman is finishing the first page and not turning it over and finishing the back.
Would you describe, by the way, our overall roster? We just had this conversation 10 days ago. This had nothing to do with the deadline. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we just say 10 days ago? We've been relatively healthy. Stanton, healthy, right? Judge. And I know there's people who believe in jinxes. We don't here. Judge, healthy, right? We had the wrist scare. He DH'd for a day. Wasn't a problem, right?
Yeah.
Trent Grisham, Cody Bellinger. All these players have dealt with injuries before. All of them are healthy. Jason Dominguez, ready to go, coach. Ready to play. Ben Rice. Austin Wells. Anthony Volpe, right? The most we've heard is what? He's icing his shoulder? We're healthy. By the way, when you mentioned roster construction, who's leading the National League West right now?
That's a good question. Is it the Dodgers?
It is the Dodgers.
I wouldn't know.
Let me go ahead and read you off their starting rotation. I would love to do so. Yamamoto, who's been healthy. It's been really good, right? Rest is history. Clayton Kershaw, has he been healthy any of the past 3 years? No. Mind you, obviously, in the twilight of his career, no big deal. Dustin May, on their roster, right? On their 26-man. Is he healthy? Has he been healthy the past, I don't know, 2 seasons? No,
No.
didn't he just have Tommy John? That's right. Shohei Ohtani, how healthy has he been? They signed him to a $700 million contract. He's fit the bill, right? You're talking about a DH superstar. And he goes out, has Tommy John, and he's recovering. He never pitches his whole first year, right? And I told you, Jake, they're going to be harder to beat the next year because he'll be pitching. Well, he wasn't healthy in pitching. They won the World Series anyway. Tyler Glasnow, has he been healthy? He's pitching really well right now. Has he been healthy for the Dodgers? No. Blake Snell, isn't he on the 60-day IL? That's right, he is. How about Roki Sasaki? Remember that guy that everybody wanted? How good and how healthy has he been? Oh, that's right, he's on the 60-day IL. All this is happening to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they have enough roster construction, albeit they're a more talented baseball club. I admitted that before the season started. But when you consider all this, your job is to manage. Injuries are going to happen. You should be prepared for them. If you traded for a Cruz or you traded for a Devin Williams and either one of the two can go down and you turn around and go, oh, we've got nothing left, you built a bad baseball team. And I describe them as an 88-win team because I think that highly of our offense overall from 162. 88 wins seems we might get close to 88 wins, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. I do, again, they have the easiest schedule moving forward. And obviously the Phillies are one of the better teams they're going to face.
We are the easy schedule. People want to see the Yankees on their schedule at this point.
No, I agree. But again, and I'm frustrated now, but at the same time, you know, they're going to make moves. They are. You cannot trot this bullpen out after July 31st. So I think they at least make 2 moves. If the Yankees are really serious, because the prompt was, do the Yankees have to go after premium bullpen arms? Gary, I believe they do. I believe they have to go after Duran.
Wipeout arms.
I don't know how I forgot this guy's name.
Is it like the Colomb guy, the lefty?
Well, Colomb,
or are you talking
and
about
then
Bednar?
Knicks. No, Knicks.
Who?
That's his name, right?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Jackson. Wait, no. What's his name? Why am I totally blanking on his name?
You're talking about Minnesota's
yeah,
guy.
Minnesota. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
No, I know
now.
who you're talking about. The guy who's going to be costing us a ton of prospects. I personally, how much should I really care?
Griffin Jacks. Jackson Nix? Who the hell's that?
It sounds like a backup quarterback, but I don't know.
good
My mom says, what a
Griffin
shit
Jacks.
day of baseball. I love Yankees Unloaded. Mom, thank you for obviously the super from your wallet to mine. Haunted S'mores with the 5. Welcome in. Very interesting
Haunted
name.
S'mores.
Says, was
Great
at
name.
the game. I'm sorry to hear that. Great energy from the fans. They did us dirty. Phillies fans were having a blast, though.
That had to feel like a funeral. Bo Nix's identical twin brother. Yeah, no. Yeah. I appreciate you, Haunted S'mores. Sorry you were there for that. That's see, I actually, and I was making dinner and I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, there are people at this game. There are people that took time out of their busy schedule on a Friday night and they were actually rug pulled. The Yankees made a comeback, 6-5, played some nice little small ball. Volpe hits a home run, and then Judge gets the sac fly, sends in Rice. It's 6-5. Now, I wasn't born yesterday, so I wasn't like, oh, they're going to win. But I would have expected it to be like a 1-run, 2-run loss, not 12-5. But that's what happens when you put in Efros, which to me, anybody who interviewed Boone after the game should ask Boone. So, Aaron, when you got to the 8th inning, did you actually care about winning this game? You don't put in Scott Efros if you actually care about winning a game. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. There's no way you could tell me Boone cared about winning this game. They waved the white flag when they were within striking distance. And that leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to remember, I'm sure the way that he was looking at this situation is this. There's no way my team can look like this post-deadline. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, Ryan McMahon, when he's going to be joining this team, Aaron Boone answered post-game tomorrow. So you're going to see him on the field. He'll be starting. There's no way we see any other third baseman. If we do, it'd be kind of funny. His first day with the organization, they give him the day. Just let him sit.
I was
and
just
then
thinking
Austin
that,
Wells.
and I knew you were gonna, and you would lose your shit because as annoyed as you were about this deal, I don't think anything would annoy you more if they're like, yeah, we're gonna give him a day. The hell?
Yeah,
because
the tough travel. He's got to get his legs, Colorado air. And Austin Wells, by the way, he was asked, and they stuck a mic in his face about the struggles since the middle of June, and this was comedy to me. He says, we're in a good spot to make a run here, and I think the tides are going to turn.
What about his struggles, though? Like, not the Yankees. They asked him about his struggles.
Oh, no. You're misunderstanding, Jake. That would come out of someone's mouth, or a thought process. That would be your thought if we were being accountable. We don't do that.
No, it's not even that. That answer is that one meme where it's like the mainstream media, you insert card, like the floppy disk into the head, into the brain chip, and then you just say whatever. Like, come on. And I like Austin Wells, but I mean, come on. Like, it's not even, it's rehearsed.
So we're 5.5 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
Toronto is a good, not great team. They're very well coached. They're not going to give anything away. They're not going to go ice cold and give you this division. It's not going to happen, right? But certainly we've seen crazier things, right? The Detroit Tigers are absolutely putrid right now. But Toronto, again, as we said, well coached. John Schneider just seems to have them at least making the right plays. If they're going to lose, it's because you played better baseball overall that day. The Yankees will show up and outplay a team and lose by 5. That's the way we play. We'll hit more home runs. We'll have more hits. And then all of a sudden, a ground ball will be hit to our shortstop, who's supposed to be sure-handed, fly balls to our left fielder, and we're not catching them. And then all of a sudden, Scott F. Ross and Jonathan Loaizaga touch the mound, and the rest is history. So the question is, Jake, I heard before this game, the Toronto Blue Jays and a lot of people, at least the tide's turning, right? People said, well, we're going to catch them right at the end. How many games? We're now like 103, 104, 104 games into the season. There's less than 60 games left in the year. Are we at the point where we're a wild card team? Like, if we turn things around, we're a hot wild card team? Is that what Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone have constructed here? Because I'm actually feeling like Toronto is just going to win this division. And we're going to be a good wild card team if everything goes great the rest of the deadline. What do you think about this?
I hate it. I hate the wild card. It's just, yeah. I mean, that is, you're not wrong. I mean, Toronto has shown no signs of slowing down. And mind you, I put up a one of the super, or not, it wasn't a super chat, it was just a regular chat. But I put up one of the comments, and the comment was basically like, yeah, and they're without Varsho, they're without Santander, who they spent a lot of money
they
on.
have injuries too? God, wouldn't you believe it? Everyone has injuries. Yeah, mind-blowing, right? Santander, sign him to hundreds of millions of dollars of a contract, right? Oh, don't worry about it. He's one of the worst. He does absolutely nothing for the team. He laid an egg. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter at all. He went Chris Davis on him, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Our roster is constructed in the type of way where we can show up and Jake and Gary can say, hey, this team takes quality at bats. Bo Bichette turns it around. Vladdy Jr. gets his contract, having a decent year, pretty good year. So, yeah, Kyle says, screw this team. The Yankees need 3 relievers. Ugh.
Oh, I can do you one better with kind of the funny energy. So, Bad Dog Sports, I see.
Yes, very familiar.
I see him in the comments section. Good YouTube channel.
Yes.
You got to get a kick out of this. So, it showed up in my recommended. He did a video on Ryan McMahon, and the title is hilarious. It's great. New York Yankees trade for low average, high strikeout third baseman.
No way. Mind you, you know what I did see?
So great. I love it.
I saw this a lot. A lot.
Oh, man.
There were
Kills
people.
me.
I don't want to throw out any names, but when we saw the Ryan McMahon trade, we're getting to the point in the season. We are 5.5 games back of a good, not great Blue Jays team. We're relatively healthy, except in our bullpen. And our team is falling apart like a house of cards. Yet, there are a lot of Yankees creators now. They're getting into a space where they feel like there's so much negativity swarming the team that you know how it is, Jake. People start to go on the opposite direction just for the sake of it. And they're like, what do you guys want? It's an upgrade at third base. I've been waiting for 6 hours to talk to you, Jake, about this. People are like, what do you want?
I missed you.
Because we brought in $16 million. It's not our money. Who cares? We gave up nothing in terms of these two prospects. And we'll let it go, right, Jake, about giving up nothing. But you bring in this player, and they say, well, what did you want them to do? Because you can't complain. You said you wanted someone better than Peraza, and we brought it. Well, half the league, if not more than that, is better than Peraza to begin with.
That's
so
what I
technically,
said.
what you're saying is I'm not allowed to complain no matter who came through the door.
No, you're not.
That's what you're saying. Let's be real about what you're saying here.
It's all over.
Ridiculous.
All over X is like Yankee fans. Like, I don't know why people are upset.
You wanted a glove. We found you a glove. A $16 million glove. That's what you found?
I talked to my father on the phone after I went live, and his thing is very simple. I don't know how you defend this. he's like, all these people are like, you don't know ball and all this. He's like, I don't understand why people like this move. Like, there's not anything. And you know what I really come to realize is that, look, Ryan McMahon will probably be fine. He probably will. They probably know something, whatever, it'll come to fruition.
He'll hit 243.
Exactly.
He'll have some pop, short porch, play good defense.
If he's a career average, like his career average, if that's what he is, the Yankees, they'll feel good about what they did. But this is the thing. The Yankees are banking on something that hasn't happened yet, okay? And a lot of people who are really excited about Ryan McMahon, they're excited because he's fresh blood. He's a new player in the Yankees organization, a new face at third base. But the reality is nothing in the statistical output this year would have you believe, yeah, he's going to be great. So when I see people are like, this is a great move. They gave up nothing. Well, Griffin Herring isn't nothing. And $36.5 million over the next 2.5 years isn't nothing either. And on top of that, you DFA'd LeMahieu, so you're also paying him $30 million over the next 2 years. You have to think about those things. And right now, you're paying $10 million. You might not even know this. You're paying $10 million to Aaron Hicks. Okay?
I'm sure none of this will affect us, by the way, because everyone always says, well, I don't expect the Yankees. And by the way, I agree with you. I really do. I don't think the Yankees are getting Kyle Tucker either, despite how much sense it makes. Right?
No,
doesn't it just make so much sense?
This is the nail in the coffin. They're going to tell you, we already, they're going to, it's like a parent, well, we rewarded you because you said you wanted a third baseman, so we got you a third baseman. So quit asking. Like, the Christmas list is too long. We got you Ryan McMahon. We're not going to get you Kyle Tucker. And it's like,
can our chat, by the way,
here. We both want to win.
Do you think our chat, by the way, would be able to even come up with 5 third basemen in Major League Baseball that we could have traded for that would have been worse than Peraza? Do you think there's a list longer than 5 players that are starting in the league?
No.
I don't.
And you know what's funny, by the way? This I find really funny. So Martino was saying how they're also looking at getting another third baseman to platoon and be the righty. So they could have just gotten a good hitter and then they wouldn't have had to get another player.
Okay, so guys, I want you to think about what he said. So let's assume he's telling the truth. Okay, this is a reporter. I'm not going to make any comment because it's just will serve us. It just won't do us any good. You're going to bring in a righty bat. So tell me what happens when you bring in that righty bat. That means the lefty is off the field. Isn't that correct? Correct. That's exactly what that means. Now, suddenly, his glove, which is the whole reason you brought him here, is being a solution with the glove.
Yes.
He's off the field, and you've created, mind you, everyone's complaining about Ben Rice platooning, right? Lefty, righty, Goldschmidt, can he catch? Austin Wells, he's going to play, and then JC Escara, right? And it feels like a platoon. Jason Dominguez, right? Jason Dominguez, Trent Grisham, Cody Bellinger. No one's got a solid role, rotations. And the Yankees are even considering actually maneuvering through the trade market to have another rotation. I'm telling you guys, if that report has any merit, it's barbaric. It's barbaric. And Apex with the super, thank you, Apex, for investing in Yankees Unloaded with the 2, says Ryan at third base, and this is objectively, this is a positive. This absolutely is. I want to cover this. It says Ryan at third base lets Peraza put pressure on Volpe at shortstop. So I disagree about the Peraza thing with Volpe at short. No, Peraza is just downright horrible, and he is. However, here's the good part. I thought this super was saying something different, but I'm going to give you guys a positive, and this is a positive.
I already know what you're going to say.
George Lombard Jr. He is our top prospect, or at the very least, the guy that most people in this system are most highly, they're like excited for. This is an all-around star. This is what they're hoping for, right? Nothing set in stone. He may be a dud, but the Yankees are high on this player. And people are worried that Anthony Volpe will be protected long-term. Well, when you bring in a third baseman and Ryan McMahon, you throw him at third base, he's not just your option for 2025, he's also your option for 2026 and 2027. So now that that's the case, George Lombard Jr. is not going to third base. He's not. And Jazz Chisholm is playing way too good a baseball in comparison to Anthony Volpe. Volpe can't move to second base. I also heard that rumor. Won't happen. Why?
No.
Because the players around him are too good at their positions. Anthony Volpe will be forced by this trade, which I did not like, although they're going to show up, and if George Lombard Jr. takes that job, Volpe's done. He's done.
That's true. No, that I agree, and you know, I was able to kind of, you sent me that statement via text, so I was able to read that on the show. Gary, I don't know if you were in the show when I was talking about it. There was a rare instance where I defended Joey Gallo. You would have fallen on the floor.
Are you kidding me?
I'm
What did
dead
you say?
serious.
No, I did not see this. What did you say?
I had someone tell me that this is just Joey Gallo, and I was like, no, it's actually not Joey Gallo. The Yankees traded, and I hated the Joey Gallo trade, but I never said Joey Gallo was a bad player. I just didn't like, he's not my cup of tea. I don't like home run or strikeout. Okay?
So you didn't like the fit
Exactly.
with the players that were currently already on the team.
He had an on-base percentage over 350 and an OPS over 850 when they traded for him. This is nothing like Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is astronomically better than Ryan McMahon because also Joey Gallo had a glove in the outfield. So he also had the defensive aspect. Ryan McMahon, I mean, think about this. Ryan McMahon is coming from Colorado. His OPS is lower than 600 on the road. Like,
what was league average again? 700?
700, yeah.
I honestly, I don't even know what else to say about it.
He had me defending Joey Gallo, and then people are like, why do you think Joey Gallo is good? And I'm like, it finally happened. Now people think I like Joey Gallo. Like, that's how far we've strayed from the path. But anyway, point being, I hope McMahon works out. So does Gary. We're not rooting against Ryan McMahon. That's like, you go on a plane, and I said this on the stream earlier today. You go on the plane, and you're like rooting for the plane to crash. No one does that. So, no.
We want Anthony Volpe to do well.
I want Anthony. I loved the Anthony Volpe home run today. Love that. Keep it up. Like, start building upon that.
Needs to be part, because if Anthony Volpe doesn't do anything the rest of the year, there's no and we're not saying he's going to carry us to anything, but it doesn't help our opportunity to go to the playoffs. What good does it do us if our podcast ends 2 weeks early because Volpe stinks it up, because Ian Hamilton is touching a mound ever, right? So it doesn't help us. Old Sarge with the 5 says, gents, it's like watching a tribe of baboons trying to hump a doorknob. So obviously a nice little dodgeball reference there. Sell and play the youth. Okay. So
Old Sarge.
I would assume this comment, and again, thank you for the 5. Thank you for investing in the show. You have to imagine this is more about the Trent Grisham sale. I would assume.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to sell on Trent Grisham. There are teams, specifically the Padres, that need an outfielder. Clear's day. They're on the market right this second, trying to get Duran from Boston. Boston doesn't want to do it. Okay. You sell on Grisham. He's in a contract year. You get whatever back. It's not going to be a lot. It's probably going to be some spun reliever with a 4.10 ERA with good stuff, right? Now that you've done that, Spencer Jones should be called up instantly, right? So now it's more of a learning curve. We're going to find out what we have in Spencer Jones. Well, I feel like Spencer Jones has to perform the rest of the year if that's the way you're going to do it. Because when he gets here, you're going to play him. What happens if he hits 190? Then what? You're going to go into 2026 and say, oh, it'll just get better. You're not going to solve it. You're not going to. Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm interested.
Yeah, I actually had an interesting text from a friend today. And it's actually, he comments all the time on here. Joe Tronco. He showed up before. He texted me, what was the opposing exit velocity today? And then I started to see, and you know how revisionist history works. People now are like, oh, Clay Holmes, like, you hated on Clay Holmes, but you would take him right now. No. Stop that. Do not revise history, okay?
Wait, hold on a second. But didn't Clay Holmes, how much was Clay Holmes?
Well, Clay Holmes was expensive.
Didn't they give him like $50 million?
Yeah, but the point being is they were saying we hated on Clay Holmes last year because he gave up soft contact and would just get blown away. And now these guys are giving up nukes. Clay Holmes gave up hard contact. I don't know what people are talking about.
But also, what does it matter if the ball's hit 40 or 400 off the bat?
Yeah,
if the ball doesn't find a glove, you're actually not good at the job. Mind you, we have a lot of people who watch this podcast who aren't 20, who aren't 14, right? People who have been watching the game for years, before we were born, Jake.
Yeah.
And yet, all of them can name pitchers who induce weak contact. Guess what? They mostly remember the pitchers who found a way to have a ball hit to a glove. Those are the guys who are remembered. You never cared about how hard the exit velocity was. It's about outs. Is there something in the comments you love?
Yes. We'll go back to Theo. Appreciate the super.
Thank you, Theo. We'll jump you back in.
I have to highlight this. Would rather have Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. You got to have a sense of humor, you know?
I would say, though, this move feels a lot like a flyer. And I'm just not comfortable with how many flyers the Yankees take. I'm cool with a flyer, right? Fernando Cruz. Mind you, this is before I knew what it would turn into. We're talking about you sent a backup catcher for a player. And then we get back this, right, in the offseason. That's for a reliever. I'll take a flyer on a reliever. I will, especially if the season hasn't started. But we're talking about the middle of the year, and you're like, God, we have such a problem at third base. And they're like, let's take a flyer on a player who's highly paid. This is a flyer. And I'll tell you what, if he hits like he's hitting right now in Colorado, which is, I believe, 217, if he does that.
He's going to get booed out the door.
Right, because the Yankees don't need that. That's not what we need. You can't, and he also strikes out a ton. So that'll, for all the people who are talking about strikeout rate with Spencer Jones.
I want to hear it now.
Answer this to me.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it now because you know what I found really interesting, though, which could benefit him, especially at Yankee Stadium?
What's that?
His pull rate is higher than it's ever been in his career. He's pulling the ball 41% of the time.
I mean, it certainly helps. And it's also the reason, it was part of the scouting report as to why Alex Bregman was seen as not a good fit for the Yankees. It was his pull rate. He's pulling the ball to the deep part of the ballpark at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees love when right-handed hitters use the opposite field, right?
Yes.
And you've seen that with
see
a
it with
lot
Judge
of their signings
the
that happen to be right-handed. So that was part of the scouting report. And Theo Harris, thank you for the 5, says, is it possible that they end up falling out of the postseason? This is somewhat what I was asking you earlier, Jake. And do you think it will happen with the way this is going? So first and foremost, I'll answer it short and sweet. If the Yankees don't make monstrous moves, and I mean 2 lights-out closers, I don't mean bringing depth pieces. If you bring in depth arms or analytically proven arms, whatever you want to call them, this Yankees team, A, is not winning the AL East, and B, has no chance of doing anything. The only way this team's going to win anything and come back in this division against a good Toronto Blue Jays team and also outrun the other teams in the division is monstrous moves. You're talking about moves that are going to cost you quite a bit, and you're going to have to replenish that, whatever you lost, in free agency this offseason, whatever you lose.
Yeah, I don't see them missing the playoffs. I can understand them not winning the division. I can't get on board with them missing the playoffs.
How bad does it have to get for that to happen, by the way?
You would have to have a catastrophic injury, I think. I just don't. I really just don't think that's even possible.
It's hard. Really guys, it is very difficult to miss the wild card.
We're talking about this era. We're talking about the expanded wild card.
I guess never mind. Jake, not that hard, by the way. I did look up. You did mention the schedule. That's a factor.
That's
right?
what I'm talking about, yeah.
But keep in mind, if we lose, so we're right now 3 games ahead of Boston in the loss column, right? Mm-hmm. If we fall behind Boston, we're out.
They have the tiebreaker.
Those teams. What?
Boston has the tiebreaker, or they will have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so if we tie them, yes. But if we fall behind them, that's the cutoff. Boston's the last team in the AL, in the wild card right now. So it's not like a team who
the
is
Yankees
50
do have the
and
tiebreaker
52.
over Seattle. And I think they have the tiebreaker over most of those teams because of how well they started the season, which could actually benefit them in the long run. But Gary, I'm telling you, as much as my issue is with Brian Cashman and Boone, something catastrophically bad would have to happen. Like it's not they didn't make a deal at the deadline type of stuff. I mean, it'd have to be really bad. I think Ryan McMahon is going to be fine. Like, I just don't love how much they're paying him. I don't love that they gave away a prospect that is flying through the ranks for Ryan McMahon. I would have rather included that guy in a deal to get Duran because I think he was a hot commodity. The Rockies clearly wanted him.
Is it okay of me to say I just didn't want Ryan McMahon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless
I didn't
of
want
what we
Ryan
got rid
McMahon
of?
either. I didn't. I mean, it's okay. We were on this show. We had a chance. Well, it was 2 days ago, Gary. I had brought up Ryan McMahon. Because you remember, I had the DM. They're like, well, I don't understand how you could be okay with Ke'Bryan Hayes, but yet you're not okay with Ryan McMahon. And my argument was, well, Ke'Bryan Hayes is a better defender. Outs above average is 10 points higher, right? But in addition to that, Ke'Bryan Hayes, you look at the batting average balls in play, it's way higher than McMahon. And
we have evidence to point to improvement. Right now, Ryan McMahon's a player who's struggling offensively, and they're like, okay, we're just going to fix it. We're like, is there any indication of why you think you can fix it? And they're like, not really. Not really. We just think we can. Okay. Yeah. Also, Hayes is cheaper. He was cheaper as well.
He's half off. It's like this. I just went and got food at the grocery store not that long ago. If you see 2 things of ground beef and they're both organic and everything across the board, same ingredients, no preservatives, all that BS, they're the same. But one brand is $16 and the other one is $8. But you choose the 16 because it's more expensive. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like I do feel like they messed up choosing him over a lot of the guys, but also again, choosing him now, making a trade on July 25th. We said we wanted moves, but I wasn't in a rush to get into a bad deal. And I just don't think this is a great deal. Was McMahon going to get flipped
to somebody else in 2 days if we didn't do anything right now?
No, there's no way.
That's interesting because I feel like, our biggest problem is our bullpen, and people are saying we need 3 of them. 3. So why wasn't, if you're in a hurry to do anything, wouldn't it have been that? I can't understand it. Mark with the super. Mark, as always, thank you for the 20.
Thank you, Mark.
And he's alluding to the post game here. And this is words out the mouth of Aaron Boone. He says, you're Paul Goldschmidt. You're going to trust that he's going to throw the ball in line. Even if we don't have a play there, maybe something happens. The runner trips, something. This is an actual, there you have it, Aaron Boone post-game comment. Now, just to give you guys some more clarification, Paul Goldschmidt was asked a similar question, and Paul Goldschmidt says, no, I should not have made that throw. He was going to be safe anyways. It was a mistake. I need to know. So isn't that sort of what leaders do, right? You guys are going to have similar things to say because you're the one leading.
Come on, man. How
Your
am I
player,
supposed to take this seriously? He might
I don't
trip.
know if we should, but Mark, thank you for bringing this to our attention. It just sort of goes to show you. It's right there in the comment. Even if we don't have a play there. No, even if you don't have a play there, you should just never throw the ball. That should be your comment. Paul Goldschmidt's a veteran player. We do trust him to make these plays. But
Good
yeah, that ball
God.
should have never been thrown.
And it's
quote.
okay to say that. It's okay to say that. He said it with Volpe the other day. He was like, yeah, there was a bad throw by Volpe. Like,
You know, I've actually figured it out, Jake. I figured it out. You know how everyone keeps telling us, well, the reason that, and you saw Cameron Maben make this comment as well, and he's absolutely right. Aaron Boone is a player's manager. The players really like him. Well, if someone's never hard on you, how's it possible to not like them? If they're always just saying,
that's true.
Gary's I just love what he does, podcasting. He's just awesome. But I'm late every day. I just skip 5 days, 6 days in a row.
He doesn't do that, guys.
Right. Yeah, no one's ever going to get bothered by it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, yeah. How's it possible for me to not like authority if they let me do whatever I want? I can perform poorly and just be affirmed post-game. Oh, yeah, Gary struck out 4 times, but we really trust in Gary. And Gary and Boone text as well. That's just not how anyone gets better. That's not how you pull more out of less. You look across the league. There are teams with much less talent. I know people don't feel very good, Jake, about this roster. We've got a better roster, in my opinion, than Toronto. It's just poorly constructed. We should be winning more games.
Poorly managed, too.
Yes.
And I don't like throwing Boone under the bus. I feel like it's kind of an easy cop out, especially when grown men are on the field and not doing their jobs.
Correct.
But there are times where it's like, yeah, the bullpen. Although I'm going to give Boone a pass. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this bullpen. Okay, he's not in charge. He's not the GM. Brian Cashman is like, yeah, you know what? We're going to give you some great options. So tonight you got Ian Hamilton, Scott Efros. You got Jonathan Loizaga if you want to use him. And I can't
any of those names, by the way, guys, let's stop it right there. Were there any names that you heard Jake spew out right there that you said, oh, yeah, he should have pitched right then? In that order.
I
No.
couldn't even finish my thought. It was too funny.
Because Brian Cashman created a team where Aaron Boone, who loves to go to his bullpen, by the way, this was like one of the comments from one of our reporters. They had to come out and say, well, you got to preserve, right? And John Morosi mentioned that with what Jim Leland has to say is you want to use your bullpen when you want to, not when you have to. And yet Boone just goes to his bullpen like it's a damn well. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Boone, Brian Cashman has not built you a bullpen to use in this way. And guess what? You know what he'd tell you? We're a little short on the rotation. We're not getting the innings we want. What does that tell you? You're a little short there too.
Yeah, it's true. And Navari Osorio, hopefully I didn't butcher that. Thank you for the Hall of Fame super chat there.
Thank you.
Ninja Hot Dog,
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the 5. 10 runs in 3 innings. This bullpen is atrocious. Even Weaver has fallen. I love how not fallen off, has fallen. Like he's not getting up.
It's like the London has fallen. Like it just
Exactly.
Weaver has fallen.
Cashman can't save us no matter his moves. Failure is contagious on our team. I disagree. Although I will have to give Cashman credit if they go out and get Duran or one of those guys. I do think they can fix this. I do.
What do you think you need to see for that to happen? Because I'm very curious.
I am literally just saying this. They don't need a starting pitcher. They don't need a right-handed bat at third base. They need to focus like they did today because they're like, the report came out, well, the Yankees just wanted to get their third baseman. Now they're going to. No, you didn't tell me that. You said the Yankees were desperate to solve their bullpen, and they didn't do it. And they prioritized Ryan McMahon before that. So now that McMahon's already done, right? It's already a done deal. There's no excuse. And you know what? I'm not going to complain if the 26th they make a move for a bullpen arm, or the 27th or the 28th. And you know why? Because unlike Ryan McMahon, and I'm not giving Peraza a pass, but you could actually deal with that because his defense is good enough. The bullpen is terrible. And Gary, I've been saying this before it even became a big issue. I was telling you, I don't like this bullpen. It was early on in the year. I liked it at first. And then I started to really notice, I think it was late May, early June. And I was like, I hate this bullpen, Gary. I truly hate this bullpen. I said over and over and over and over again. And it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. It's insane, dude. It's like a freaking, it's awful. I hate it. Hell is freezing over. Like, I'm so tired of it. So you take Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. He's good enough to be in the pen. I understand people are upset with him. You keep them, okay? Yeri De Los Santos will be back at some point. He pitched well enough for me to give him an opportunity in the pen. So you got 3 guys there. Keep in mind that, that's 8 guys. At some point, because the starting pitchers, at some point, Heal's going to come back. That's 9 guys, right? So you'll have to move one of those guys to the pen. I believe it'll probably be Schlittler from what it's sounding like. So your bullpen will consist of Williams, Weaver, De Los Santos, not Enyel, Yeri. Let me make that very clear. Schlittler. Then you'll get Yarbrough back, right? That's 5. So you still need 3 more arms. And to me, I'm okay because, Morosi was talking about that, how it's like, well, you could get 3, but that is a lot of turnover. Bring on the turnover. Like, seriously.
Well, let me ask you this. How good do those arms have to be?
I think that, I'll be honest with you, they should just trade with the Twins right now and get Duran. I almost said Jackson Nix again. I don't know why.
When is Duran a free agent, by the way? Because I remember you did give me this information.
3 years from now, I believe.
Perfect. So I genuinely believe, I understand the Yankees will tell you we're high on Ben Hess. The Yankees being high on someone means nothing to the market. All that matters is what the other team wants. And when you're giving someone Duran on the market, now keep in mind, the Dodgers, right? Remember the rankings of these farm systems, right? Where'd they have the Dodgers ranked again, Jake?
The Dodgers, they have ranked at the top, like I think 3rd.
At the top. Isn't that right? Perfect. So if we all know the reason the Dodgers are losing a ton of games for the most part is they don't have pitching, specifically in their bullpen. They're hurt. Gratterall, right? A lot of these guys down. They are going heavy after a pitcher. They have the number 1 farm system, and you think you're going to go get Duran, you're going to be selling at the top of your system. It's not going to look like George Lombard Jr., but it is going to look like Spencer Jones. And I will tell you guys, when I think about our alignment, what we have to give up in order to have a chance this year, the only way I'm comfortable doing it is if I have assurance that I'm going into the offseason and getting Kyle Tucker. I cannot give up an outfielder as good as Spencer Jones with that type of ceiling if I don't have the assurance or at least the confidence that you guys are going to go get that done. Now, mind you, if you ask me what I think the Yankees should do, I think the Yankees should understand of what they're going to do in 2026. What's your plan? And I'll tell you, I really want Cody Bellinger back on this team. I think he's part of the solution. I know it's very easy to get negative because we're watching what the Yankees are doing overall, and it's hard to start celebrating what a player's doing objectively good. Cody Bellinger needs to be back with this organization. He'll be 30 next year still. Having said this, Cody Bellinger is my first baseman. I'm moving him out of the outfield. Why? Because I think Spencer Jones should be an everyday outfielder in 2026. Now what happens after that? Obviously, the best player in the game, and Aaron Judge, is my right fielder. Okay, great. You got Spencer Jones in center field. You got Aaron Judge in right field. Who's your left fielder? Kyle Tucker. That's my answer for you guys. That's the alignment I want. Now, mind you, how do you get there? Well, if you notice, I didn't say Jason Dominguez, right? There's a lot of turnover here. There's a lot that has to happen. So maybe, Jake, maybe part of the sale is Jason Dominguez.
Yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts on that. I love Jason Dominguez as a prospect.
Bet you can get Duran for him.
But I mean, well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't even think they'd have to trade Dominguez. I think it would be for Ben Rice. I think it would be, they would probably ask for Because what they're going to try to do, what the Yankees are trying to do, is they're going to try and trade Everson Pereira, right? Definitely, because he's playing well, right? And he doesn't really have a role. So he doesn't have a role. He's blocked. He's playing well in AAA. They're going to run out of, I think he'll be a Rule 5 after this year. He's getting traded. So you have him. Then you have guys like, well, let's just talk about it. Bryce Cunningham, Ben Hess. These are guys, as well as Carlos Lagrange or Lagrange. Again, I don't know how to say his name. Lagrange is cooler, though. Just saying.
I think it's Lagrange.
And then Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. So there's a lot of pitching depth right now. And I feel like they would be able to get away with not having to give up Jason Dominguez. And then they could save him for the winter, where you could acquire like a starting pitcher with control of the winter for Jason Dominguez. Because it's like you said, if you can, get away with it, and like say you do want to trade Dominguez because you're like, all right, there's a surplus here. We like Spencer Jones' glove more, whatever. You would rather do that in the winter. You're more likely to acquire a bigger fish. So
yeah, you can take your time. Usually you're not competing so hard against another team. Whereas the deadline, you start to hear rumors. The rumors are heavy. It's a lot to. And by the way, I do agree. I did see it in the chat, and of course I lost it because you guys have been awesome. It's been a ton of chats in here. Thank you guys for doing so. But people are mentioning when you're talking about Pereira, and again, the Yankees are high on this player, but they don't really feel like they've got a spot for him. Again, when people look at the Yankees system, if you're going to get anything that you say, oh, that's a great player that can actually make a difference in 2025 and beyond, right? Talking about control, they're going to be looking at George Lombard Jr., of course, right? They're going to be looking at Spencer Jones, right? And I'm just telling you how they're going to look at this list. And people think, oh, Lagrange is there, so that's going to be the second most likely person that they hear about. That's not correct. It's just not. You can see every single time you read a report, which names do you see? Do you guys see Rock Riggio in there? You don't, do you? Do you see Bryce Cunningham in there? You don't, do you? You continuously see. You see George Lombard Jr., Spencer Jones, occasionally Cam Schlittler, and I think I saw Ben Hess once. One time.
Oh, and I've seen Flores start to pop up a decent amount.
You've seen Flores pop up. I haven't seen that, but yes. So you're talking about a player at the AAA level. Obviously, as you mentioned, Jake, you brought this up last week. More scouts at the AAA level, so that tends to check out. More people are getting a chance to see him. But you see some of these guys and we're like, oh, look, Henry LaLane, he's climbing up. And I'm like, well, aren't you guys high on him and they're not?
I mean, my biggest thing is I feel like there's a lot of these prospects in the Yankees organization, which we're always told they're very overrated, and it's not that good. But there are a lot of prospects that are constantly like, oh, yeah, the Pirates called for Carlos Lagrange. They called for a prospect. The Pirates are eyeing a Yankee farmhand.
To be fair, at the top of your to be fair, it's at the top.
Of course. But I mean, at the same time, and obviously we're not seeing anybody down here.
I think we have top end talent. But when people tell me Roderick Arias is a good player, I'm telling you,
I would trade him tomorrow.
Right. They're like, the Yankees still think he's good. I'm like, I'm telling you,
this
there's
is
no
the
way.
guy. They already made this decision. It's George Lombard Jr. That was what I was saying, is that they've already chosen George Lombard Jr. over Roderick Arias. And
which players do you think are the chosen ones? If you just give me a short list of the... well, actually, there shouldn't be a long list regardless, but what's your list of the chosen ones? Because I just want to make somewhat of a point here.
This guy right here.
Okay, makes perfect sense.
Shortstop of the future. We'll see.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm also excited when this gets updated with the draft prospects. I'm looking forward to that. So... Dax is not on this right now.
So Lombard Jr. is number one, of course.
Yeah. So then you have Carlos Lagrange. I tend to believe he's going to get traded.
Right. So the number two guy, the Yankees feel like, I mean, how odd is that? The number two prospect that we have in our system, we're not locked in with the future. And Cam Schlittler, by the way, who just got called up, they also were not exactly sure how long he's being kicked to the bullpen.
Yeah. But I think they're going to, I kind of feel like they're going to keep Schlittler and then trade LaGrange. But I mean, I could see they're both very similar. I mean, he's got a 70 fastball, 70 out of 80, by the way. And I mean, you look at these numbers, 82 and a third, and he's got 119 strikeouts. He misses bats. His biggest issue is control, and they're saying that he's getting better at that. I think Spencer Jones, if he's not traded, and I still don't think he's going to get traded, if he is not traded by July 31st, I'm telling you, I think he is a part of the future. I really do.
I have no problem with that. If you actually had to give me a choice.
But those are the only two I feel confident about. I think Rock Reggio could kind of slip in there.
Yeah, but he's like a slip-in guy with big numbers.
Yeah.
For me, Spencer Jones is the one name where if I had to choose between Jason Dominguez and I'm choosing Spencer Jones. That's my choice. I think in general, you have to remember, this is baseball. This isn't hit ball. You don't just get to show up and hit and be fast, right? And mind you, the offensive tools are all there, right? Jason Dominguez, right? The power, it probably is going to improve. I'm excited to that degree. But Jason Dominguez also, we mentioned this is baseball. You have to play defense. And then people will tell you, well, you can DH. Not on this team, you can't. You're not DH. Jason Dominguez is not a good enough bat to DH on our team. He's not a better bat than Giancarlo Stanton, especially in any October setting. He's not. So I have to choose between those two players. I would assume all those players that you listed, I know you put in Rock Reggio there at the last second, but those players you listed was for a reason. You think those players have a genuine path in the short term here, actually pretty quick, to get up onto the big league roster and compete and actually help a team win. So when teams are making trades, especially with the Yankees, that's a notable trade. Everyone's going to notice that trade. If you're going to trade with the Yankees, you're not going to look and say, oh yeah, Ben Hess, I'll take that. No, you're going to want the players that they also want on their team, right? They're going to want Spencer Jones on their team because you want to keep him. That's how the market works, unfortunately.
Yeah, these two, I think, they're not saying it. I think Lombard Jr. and Spencer Jones are untouchable right now.
That's weird because the reporters that we've brought on so far, right, they're not necessarily backing that. And mind you, Jack Curry came on the air today and said, do you think Spencer Jones, it's possible for him to get traded? And he didn't report, but he gave his opinion. He said, I don't think so. I don't think it's happening, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot out there. I think what happened was they probably were totally down to trade him. They probably had a plan in place that involved, okay, we're going to trade this player. And then he went nuclear to the point where it's like, oh, he's figured it out. We can't trade him now.
And they also can't get a player good enough to be comfortable trading him. Basically, the Yankees can't go get a Jose Ramirez. They can't go get
There's not anybody
Steven
out there I
Kwan.
would trade Spencer Jones for. Not a single soul. I wouldn't trade him for Duran. I wouldn't trade him for Kwan. I told you, I would only trade Spencer Jones the way he's playing right now. I would trade him for Ronald Acuna Jr. I would trade him for...
There are many players I'd trade him for.
I feel like he's going to be... And again, he could end up being a 220 hitter that hits a lot of home runs, right? But I tend to believe he's going to be like a 270, a 280 hitter who can hit 40, 50 bombs.
Well, if he does end up being... If you don't trade the player for something great, and you just decide we're going to keep it and see what he does, and he ends up if he ends up being serviceable but not great, it's a huge misfire. I
agree.
That's just the way that this goes. You have to make the correct decision, and the Yankees know this.
Yeah, but I mean, that power, though, like if he is hitting 40 bombs and hitting, like, say, 230, 240, I'll take that.
230 with how many?
Like 40 bombs.
Yeah, it's got to be 40 plus. It needs to be Kyle Schwarber offensively with good defense.
OPS over 800. I think that's the thing. His OPS has to be over 800, or it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of players. I would just have to say, the player that's coming in, I would have to say that's a great player. I think as long as I have that takeaway, I'd trade a prospect. I really don't care what that prospect looks like. I really don't. I would trade a prospect who potentially could be a star if I'm trading for a player who's a borderline star. I would make that trade. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. No, Navarre, thank you for the 5. Our bullpen is the biggest problem. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah.
The biggest issue, by the way, that no one seems to be talking about is a lot of us want Duran. A lot of us want Bednar. I think Bednar is probably the lesser of the valuable pieces there, clearly. But when you're mentioning some of these bullpen arms and people say, we need great ones. But in order to get the great ones, you have to give up great prospects. You have to give up great capital. And a lot of folks are saying, well, you should sell. That's really a smoke signal saying, I don't know, even if we buy, we can catch and make ground. That's really what that's saying. So if the Yankees give up big prospects and then they don't make it, now you go into the winter, you don't have as much flexibility. And the only answer to fix some of the problems that you've now created is to spend. And Brian Cashman's job, whether we like it or not, is to help Hal Steinbrenner have to spend as least as possible.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like it, but yeah, Gary, you had asked me, I really just see these two. I think anyone is in play. Cam Schlittler, I probably would lean as a third, but they could say Carlos LaGrange has better stuff. And with a full off season, we think LaGrange has more upside, 2 years younger than Schlittler. Or they could be like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. We trade away a good bat at catcher in Narvaez for him. And he's already in Double-A. He's ahead of Ben Hess. You can see
Randy
here.
Miller did bring up a pretty good point, though, with Spencer Jones. And I thought the point made a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. And this isn't meant to put more pressure on Spencer Jones. There's already going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But he's not 20. He's not 21, right? Anthony Volpe came into this league a 21-year-old kid. He's very young. And so when Spencer Jones gets here, if it takes him 2 or 3 seasons to give you high-quality output, well, you're looking at now a 26, 27-year-old player that is now entering in, and he's got to be great. And now you have what? I don't know, Aaron Judge somewhat exiting his prime. We're on a time crunch here. We are. Probably the next, I would say our window right now, Jake, comfortably. The Yankees are in the Aaron Judge window. I'm going to say comfortably the next 3 full seasons after this with Aaron Judge being at this level.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Spencer, I'm not really too worried about him being 24. I mean, you saw the way it worked out for Judge. There have been players.
Well, yeah,
in the
but
past,
Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. So.
Yeah, he's an alien. But I'm saying that there have been players in the past that have had. I'm not actually putting too much stock in it to age, but I will say, like for instance, Roger Arias. I don't care that he's 20. I don't think he's going to work out. I just don't, and I think they should trade him. George Lombard Jr., I think he's going to be really good. Not because he's 20, but because I think he has the tools. But
yeah, because players aren't just good because they are young. That's
exactly.
Right.
But Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, actually, the thing that makes me almost more enticed is that he came from the Red Sox farm system. Like, I feel like there's something about the Red Sox have a nasty farm system. They have put out some really good talent. Rafaela, who's having a fantastic year.
Obviously, Roman Anthony hasn't really done anything yet, but just Casas, like Jack Caglione, we assume he will.
Yeah, Casas, Duran, they've done a nice job. Devers was a part of it. They've done a really nice job with their farm system. ERC, if they don't trade him, I'm actually very excited for what he can become, because you look at him and you're like, all right, he kind of sneaks up on you a little bit, and he's flying right now. Like, they just called him up to Double-A. Some people didn't think he'd be in Double-A this quick, and he's already looking really good in Double-A. So, yeah, I just, for me, I like this player. I'm keeping an eye on him. Again, not saying that he's in the same tier as these two, but I'd keep an eye on ERC, because if he can rise quickly, we could be talking about him maybe coming up next year. The same thing as LaGrange. So it really is interesting, though, because the Yankees have a surplus of pitching. Not all these guys, and it goes back to what I was saying yesterday, Gary. Not all of these guys can be a part of your rotation.
And what a surprise, right? They spent all of last year's draft drafting only pitchers.
And they
That's
did
all you
that
saw.
Because now they had ammo to trade. Now, my dad brought up a good point about trading away Griffin Herring and why that wasn't necessarily the best idea. Not only did he rise up the ranks real quick, He's one of the only like lefties in their system. Brock Selvage is 12th down here. Okay. Low Lane is 13th. But if you see Kyle Carr, this is a lefty that was in their top 10. Now they don't have any lefties, really. So that could be a little concerning. But that being said, I really do like the look of this farm system right now. I haven't said that in a minute, but having Regio as your 10th, I mean, that's a really good sign. But like the way he's flying up, the way Bryce Cunningham is, you still got Ben Hess, right? Cam was way down here. And then Carlos LaGrange was way down there. So there's clearly some development, some heavy development on the pitching. And again, not everybody can be in the rotation, especially when you have all those contracts. You have 3 long-term deals signed for starting pitchers. But these guys can still net you some good value. So, yeah, I'd keep an eye on this. I think all these guys are in play except for Spencer Jones and Lombard Jr. But the guys that survive July 31st, those are the ones that, you're going to have to keep an eye on, because you could see ERC, you could see a LaGrange, you could see Schlittler really emerge into the starting rotation. And what does that do, Gary? Well, now Will Warren becomes expendable if one of these guys pans out. Luis Heel, we don't know how he's going to be when he comes back. He's been struggling in his rehab assignment. And you have Clark Schmidt on Tommy John, with the Tommy John. So, yeah, there's a lot going on right now. And
there's also a case, by the way, when people say they don't think Spencer Jones will be traded, or they don't think Cam Schlittler might be traded, or whoever else, ERC. It also could be saying that maybe you just don't have very much confidence that Brian Cashman is going to make a big trade. Maybe it's also that in order for these players to be traded, and a lot of people are like, I would never trade Spencer Jones for Eugenio Suarez. That was never even a conversation. It was never a part of the equation. It's like going into Toyota and looking at a Camry and be like, I wouldn't pay $200,000 for this. It's like, I bet you wouldn't. It's a $25,000 car. That's what this is. So I understand when people say, I want to preserve Spencer Jones. I want to preserve George Lombard Jr. So do I. But you do have to make decisions of which players to play. And I mentioned this about the Dodger system. You have to know it's not just about drafting and developing. It's also about making tight decisions, especially when you're a big spender. You're going to spend money on players like an Aaron Judge. You give him a 9-year contract. Well, you don't need a right fielder for 9 years, right? This is also part of the decision-making that you has to go into your mind with who to trade, who to keep, who can play center field, who has versatility, who can flex from the outfield to first base like a Cody Bellinger. All of these things impact your farm system. They all do. And the Yankees right now have to make a decision. Do we go balls to the walls and make a big trade? Is that even available? Maybe it's not, Jake. Maybe even if they're like, we'll give you Spencer Jones for Yohan Duran, they're like, no, we don't want that. We want someone with a higher contact rate. They may say that. And so now you have to say, well, which of the two players, who's going to be in your outfield long term? Aaron Judge, Spencer Jones, we presume. Are you comfortable, by the way, Jake? And I meant to ask you this. Mm-hmm. If our outfield is Jason Dominguez, are you confident that Jason Dominguez is going to stay in left field? Because he has to if he's a part of your future. So I was very curious. I want to know your definitive answer to this question.
Part of me feels like the outfield next year is going to be Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, and Aaron Judge. And then Cody Bellinger is going to be the first baseman. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I feel
it's certainly the cheaper of the options, hoping that Dominguez improves on defense.
Goldschmidt won't be back. Grisham won't be back. Rice will probably platoon. He's also a lefty, but he'll, catch as well, with Wells. Or they'll trade Rice, and Rice will be a part of the Twins deal. Or they'll trade, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, this is also why, not to, beat a dead horse, this is why Gary and I were like, hey, why don't you give, ironically, against the Rockies, if you remember I said this, why don't you give Ben Rice a try at third base? This is why we talked about being creative. Oh, no, it's just a good problem to have. We're not going to worry about it. He can't play there. Oh, you
No,
sure?
they like everyone everywhere. They're like, we like Austin Wells. We like Ben Rice. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you can't like everyone where everyone gets to play. It's just not a sustainable way to play baseball. And Theo obviously was giving a little follow-up super chat. Thank you for the 5. Said, thanks. I know I asked before, but I was wondering what your take was until now. Yeah, so don't even remember what the question was, unfortunately, because there's been so many. But thank you, Theo, for getting involved. And Ninja Hot Dog with the 2 says, if I win the jersey giveaway, I want to make sure I announce this because I don't think we did earlier. We have passed 8,000 subscribers. Growing very quickly, Jake.
Yeah.
When we get to 10,000, we are giving away a Yankees jersey of your choice. I do see someone in the super chats right now who was at the Yankees game, and I will be popping them up on screen here pretty soon. But Ninja Hot Dog with the 2 says, if I win the jersey giveaway, I'm getting a McMahon jersey. That is wild.
Yeah, that's good for you. You know, you want to blaze the trail, blaze it. But
yeah, you're better than me, man. What numbers? What number is he wearing, by the way? Does anyone have any information on this?
I'm gonna try and find it right now because I couldn't find it earlier. This is important info. Like, I don't know why a reporter doesn't get on this stuff. Like, people care about this. This is
And
the important
Alex,
stuff.
With the 20 says sending support. Thanks, guys. Alex, thank you for investing in Yankees Unloaded. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
What number is Ryan McMahon? I'm gonna ask Grok.
Grok's not gonna know.
No, I know.
They're gonna tell you. Yankee fangirl for life, and I believe she was at the Yankees game, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for the 5. It says, it seems in the important games we can't score with men on base. We get lots of solo home runs, but our small ball can't compete. I don't necessarily know if it's our offense in these games. I don't.
Wait, who's 24?
Not sure. I think, to be honest with you, the problem and the reason our offense looks like they're boom or bust, because, again, we're still scoring a lot of runs. I think the reason it appears like that is because our bullpen continuously puts us in a position where the offense has to scribble a run. They are now, you can be ahead 5-4. Okay, now it's 6-5. Now go ahead and figure out a way to scratch a run. And then if you do take the lead, they give it right back to you. It ends up tied. And then we're back into a situation where we have to execute. Our bullpen, if you look at our plus minus, we should be much better than we are. And yet, this bullpen just continues to put our offense in a position where they have to go out there and just come back every night. You're not going to win games that way. And I'll tell you right now, this Yankees offense is good. They ain't that good where they're going to be coming back every single night to win a baseball game. If you're looking up and you're looking to come back and Jonathan Loaizaga, you know he's slated to pitch the 8th inning, how well would you manufacture a run if you knew that was behind you? So I just think that has an impact. Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all time, Yankees closer. You don't think he had an impact on how much easier it was to manufacture a run? You know, if you have a 1-run lead, more times than not, you can go ahead and fire up the showers. Mo's back there. It has an impact.
No, that's true. And again, really appreciate Yankee Fangirl for life. Always active in the comments. Yeah, the solo home runs, they don't really help. They're nice, but you know, it's like getting blackjack when you bet the least the whole night. Like, yay, I won, but I didn't win as much as I should have won.
Hey Jake, can we take these? Can we take Elmer Rodriguez Cruz off the screen? I'm so tired of seeing these prospects. I cannot. I don't like even the concept. I know you're very high on like the concept of prospects and sort of the future and all those things, and you're also not naive to the fact that you need players to win now. I am built from just a totally different cloth. I cannot stand the idea of waiting on prospects when you're not comfortable with what's in the door right now. It's just sort of, it's like watching a movie preview every year. It's like, you guys, I mean, you remember when Vladdy Jr. was like, this is just a preview. Wait till you see what we're going to be. And it's like, how about what you are right now?
So with the Yankees, that the number, McMahon is listed as 24, but Jason Dominguez wears 24, so he won't be wearing 24. I think they're going to give him 26, which was LeMahieu.
I can see that happening.
Also, I'm going to get out in front of this. We haven't talked about it yet. I deserve to talk about it, or I should be allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
Ryan McMahon is in DJ LeMahieu. Can we stop with the social media posts showing DJ LeMahieu holding a fucking batting title? Ryan McMahon's never won a batting title. His best year, he hit 250. 254 maybe.
Just DJ LeMahieu, by the way, at one point or another with the Yankees, when we actually got him, our whole premise is we think we can fix him.
Yeah.
Fix, not solve, right? That's what we're going to try and return him to form. He was a certain player, and then it started to go the opposite direction, right? We've seen that happen with certain players, right? We saw with Gleyber Torres, he went the opposite direction. And then you saw in his final year, at least in the second half, we get a revitalization, right? On base over 400, you get it. This player, to Jake's point, he was never great in any year so far. Now, it could work out, but this is a risk. You're bringing in a player. The good news is he's going to be a solid glove. He's not Hayes. It's not a premier glove, but you're not going to see ground balls over at third base and be like, yeah, that guy right there, we need to throw in Peraza, or we need Vivas to go in there for a glove in the eighth. No, he's our best option defensively at third base. It's going to be much better than Jazz, much better than even Cabrera. This is going to be better, but I don't know, guys. I don't love it. James with the 2 said, could we get Duran for ET Wells? Who's ET? ET phone home.
Edwin Encarnacion.
Who is ET? I'm sure I should know who this is, but who is
what
ET?
Incarnation is ET? Oh, Jason Dominguez. It wasn't it's ET, like the alien, the Martian.
Hold on a second. What? There is no way we're calling a player, which, by the way, we should probably stop with the shit about the Martian. Aliens don't hit 250. So I'm here to tell you right now, and I like Jason Dominguez as much as anybody, but it's kind of like the idea. You remember when Miguel Cabrera was just dominating the league, and then every Miguel who came into Major League Baseball, it's all Miggy now? No, you're not Miggy. You're Miguel.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jason Dominguez.
Stripes, yeah.
No, that's Jason. So we type out, you might as well put his middle name in there too.
What are we
Extraterrestrial. Thank you, Steven.
Are we going to start calling Brian McMahon the Machine?
Right. See, you give people nicknames when they perform. I'm all for nicknames. I love it, right? To be fair, I guess, right? Cody Bellinger came into the big leagues. People don't know this. His nickname was Cody Pop when he was coming into the league.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've heard that. He's been called that before.
But it definitely slowed down. It became Belly.
MLB Network used to call him that only, like exclusively, when he was on the Dodgers, the MVP season. Quick Pitch would be like, Cody Pop hits another one. McDougal or Rymac is his nickname. I'm just gonna go with Ryan McMahon.
We should probably answer this question. So I'm sorry, James. We get sidetracked often, but
yes, just
to answer the question, yes. If you trade Jason Dominguez, you're probably going to get this player, and it also alleviates you from a surplus. I know people hear that and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're trying to get rid of a player?" No, I'm trying to get a player.
Though.
Oh, why would you?
No, you wouldn't need to trade Wells and
probably
Dominguez.
not.
Yeah, but
probably not.
If you did that, I'd better get freaking Jackson Nix. I'm just saying it for fun now. Griffin Jacks and Danny Colum. And maybe another.
So if you get rid of this player, what's coming inbound is great in Durant. It's a huge solution. I don't think we're going to find anybody in our comment section that has a problem with bringing in Durant. You're talking about a top flight bullpen arm. This is a closer. And you've got control, which the Yankees tell us they care about. But then also, when Jason Dominguez, if he was, say, traded in this question, well, now Spencer Jones, he's got a nice little runway now. Maybe Trent Grisham, who's performing really well, also fielding well, Jake. You can justify Spencer Jones being called up right now if that happens. So there's a lot at work if that trade happens. So I would like it.
That's just so messed up.
His nickname is E6.
Bednar and Clase. All caps too. Damn.
I'm actually sold on it. I figured it out.
You figure out a lot today.
I figured it out all the time. Spencer Jones, I simply don't trade at all. Right? I don't trade
Now
him.
he's back. All right, here we go.
However, I'm going to trade the player I think fits less. If I go get a player, and again, has to be top flight, has to be Class A. Bednar, no. Bednar is for prospects. He's Bednar. Okay? Good pitcher, not great. He's not a top flight arm. Class A, on the other hand, I would not trade for personally. I'm looking at Duran. If I can go get Duran, I'm giving you players off my big league roster to go get that, make it happen. I'm alleviating the surplus, and now I have clear paths for players to play every day. I saw it in the comment section. It was a normal chat, and someone said, how about we just play the same players every day? Well, the only way you can do that is if you actually get rid of the surplus that you have at certain positions. Isn't that the only way that happens, Jake?
Yeah. Who wouldn't want this guy? He's got an ERA lower than 2.
No one needs him more than us.
Like,
Nobody.
Look at that. I mean, the splitter, the four-seamer, 100-mile-an-hour fastball is his average. Actually, 100.3, which is in the 100th percentile. Then he gets 100% ground ball percentage. Yeah, it's the chase rate, the whiff rate, the K rate, doesn't walk. He walks just barely below average, but he's almost Ben Rice with everything over the average. See the line? Because if you look, I'm not kidding you. I literally have it right here. Ben Rice is just all... And I heard, I actually found out, his base running went down. But before his base running went down, everything was above average.
He looks like a twin.
He was one of 13 players who were at least above average in every single metric on Savant. Is that crazy?
Really? So only 12 other players had done it? That's interesting.
Yeah, this year. I'm sure it's happened before.
It's too bad baseball's not played on the Savant page, but it certainly...
But we like the rivers of blood.
We like the rivers of blood. Yeah, I totally lost our place in the supers, by the way, so I don't know if you know where we're at, but I do not.
I do. Jones, Rice, Pereira, and Hess, plus a lower-level prospect for Joe Ryan, Jax, Colomb, and Duran. Good deal. I wouldn't trade Jones, but you might have something there. Jones and Rice, I think, really get you to that table. You might have to go up a little bit more on the Pereira side. Like, that might need to be Flores. And again, Gary, I'm not saying I'd do this, but I'm just trying to make it fair.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, though.
Jones, Rice, Flores, and then probably Cunningham, and then a lower level prospect. And because, you're Joe Ryan, that's the thing that makes this thing tricky, because his value is crazy right now. So if it's Jax, Colomb, and Duran, you don't need to trade all of that. But Joe Ryan is what's going to make you really expensive here.
Our expectation is that the Yankees bring in 2 arms. 2.
Yes.
And the 2 have to be great. We're talking Duran, and then what comes after that? Is it Jax? Is it Ryan? Is it Colomb? We're not sure, but we're looking at the ceiling of that. And Jonathan, again, when you look at the package that the Yankees are sending outbound there, right? Ben Rice can hit. He can't do anything else. He's not lights out behind the plate, but he can field the position. Jake brought up his numbers just the other day. They are at least serviceable. Now, Jones, on the other hand, look at the way the Yankees are describing him. Athletic, great defender, right?
Yeah.
Stop there. Aren't those the first 2 things you care about? If we're going to talk about a prospect, do you guys really want another prospect who can hit that can't field his position? I'm not moving Jones because of that. I'm looking at those 2 players. Hess doesn't bother me. I understand it's a lot of value. I'm okay getting rid of it. Pereira, that's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Rice, I'm fine. Because I don't mind having Austin Wells behind the plate. Doesn't bother me. My outfield needs to be Spencer Jones, Aaron Judge, and if it's Cody Bellinger, so be it. That's a really good outfield.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because like I understand what, kind of going back to yesterday, Rice, Dominguez, Jones, you kind of have to pick two of those three to keep. Or
do you
at
think the
least
Yankees
one
are
of those
thinking
three.
about, because mind you, this is really about how do we solve the Yankees' problems? Because in the end, that's what we're doing here, isn't it? We're technically saying, I'll trade you this player, and then you'll give me that player. And when it's all said and done, I can't think about the player I lost. I have to think about everything that's on my team. Well, that unit that's on your team now, they have to be fundamental enough to win something. That's what we're all here for. Well, you have to remember, if you don't trade a player, you're essentially saying that player is part of the solution. He is going to be here when we win.
It's true.
That's what you're saying. So I'm curious, when people say, and I do see it in the comments, and it's perfectly okay, we can all agree to disagree or just have conversation. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm curious how highly touted Jason Dominguez is with the organization. Remember, he doesn't play every day, right? So
No.
I'm curious to know what they think about him. It's been very quiet. We haven't heard anything. And I'm not expecting them to say Jason Dominguez stinks, we can't wait to get rid of him. But I don't know. I'm curious to know if people want to actually solve the fundamentals. Are they going to be diligent in moving players and acquiring players that, I don't know, don't master the fundamentals or do? Or is that the type of decisions you're going to make? Because for me, I'm going to make definitive decisions, whether they're criticized or not. They're going to make sense, at least the thought process of it, because I am not going into 2026 and being bad at what I was in 2024. That cannot happen, Jake.
No, that can't happen. Yeah, it's tough because like Dominguez, if he was just an average fielder, I would say this becomes really, really tough. I still kind of feel like they want to give Dominguez and Spencer Jones a shot, and then Bellinger is going to play first base. And then, I mean, I'm kind of leaning. I could see them trading Dominguez, but I could also see them trading Rice. Kind of feel like Rice could be going to Minnesota.
Yeah, because you're talking about a catcher here, and we've always, you look across baseball, catchers don't last 12 years. They're not giving you the type of value. Like, so if you think Ben Rice is going to be a great catcher for the Yankees, say a decade from now, I'm here to tell you right now, it's not happening. It's just not.
Well, and also it's going to depend on, do they see him as somebody that can play first? Because if they don't believe he can play first at all, not what we think, what they think. If they think he's their future first baseman, then I think they would rather lose a trade and give up more prospects than they have to, than just trade Ben Rice and like another prospect or something. Because Ben Rice, trading a guy currently on your roster that is an established player in the league, maybe not established as a star or anything, but established like, okay, they work. We know that he's going to work in the MLB. He can play. When you trade a guy like that, right, that player makes it a cheaper deal for you because you don't have to give up as many prospects. But at the same time, it all comes out in the wash in the end because you're giving up more value based on the fact the guy is ready to go right now. That said, though, it's also important to remember that he's 26 and will be 27 in February of next year. So that's something to keep in mind because we're talking about Spencer Jones being old to 24. Well, Ben Rice will be 27 in his second full season. So,
I do think Ben Rice, though, has a ton of value just from the simple standpoint of when you're already in the big leagues, you don't have to stack up any type of package when you've got a player who's established. Like that's sort of how trades are changing throughout the years. Is trades back in the day used to be here's 6 guys, remember? To be determined. We'd see a whole laundry list of players, and then obviously reporters would have to come out with their articles, and we're going to Yankees.com to figure out which players are part of those deals. Well, now we see people jumping in the chat and dropping trade ideas, and these lists are maybe 1 or 2 names long. And trades are actually going down that way, where you're seeing classic Soriano, A-Rod type deals.
Well, we're not seeing that anymore, but I
know
get
what I mean is that you're seeing a name, you're getting this player and you know who he is, and you're going to get this player and we know what he is. Ben Rice, the Twins know what he is. Ben Rice is going to hit 250 plus at some point. They should have plenty of room to put him in the field, either at catcher or at first base. It's a clear decision for them. He will play. There's going to be no confusion as to what his role is as soon as he gets there. That's very valuable to them. Probably more valuable than a prospect that may be a star, but he also could be a dud. I don't think there's any chance Ben Rice is a dud. So I think maybe the Yankees take advantage of that in the deadline. And of course, I mean, we asked multiple reporters now, and we have others coming on the way. We've asked them, how interested are teams in Ben Rice? The answer was very, very interested. So
he's made a name for himself early on in his young MLB career. He's not, young. I mean, he'll be 27 next year, but, he's not been in the league long, and teams are already like, damn, this guy hits the cover off the ball. So
wouldn't even have been here, by the way, if Rizzo didn't.
That's insane to think about. Insane. He was their 12th prospect. Just like Cam Schlittler, by the way, which, we've seen it. It's a tale as old as time. I mean, the Yankees, it feels like every year since, I don't know, I can remember, they always have that one guy who's hiding just outside the top 10 that just ends up being a contributor for their roster. Now Schlittler's that guy, but yeah, I mean, Ben Rice was that guy last year, and I don't want to trade him, but like, if they don't have room for these guys, I mean, that's going to be a problem. And as far as to kind of wrap it up on that right-handed bat comment earlier, right? Because, Martino had reported that as to be an option. I'm not against it. I actually think if they went after Bednar and then they got IKF, that would actually make a lot of sense. Because IKF can play short, he can play second base, he can play third, he can play in the outfield, he can play catcher. Familiarity with
because that one's more about not so much a platoon job, but giving us depth.
Willie Castro is not a good third baseman. Like, I'll be saying that until I'm blue in the face. Like,
I had two people text me today saying how much they wanted Willie Castro. I didn't even reply.
Because he's all over X right now. Like, Yankee fans think he's the greatest thing ever, and it's like, I would rather trade, like right now, I'd rather trade for Royce Lewis even still. I would not trade prospects for Willie Castro. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, neither would I. And I stomp casuals for fun.
Thank
you for the 5. Love the waves.
That's
showing love as a Dodgers fan. So
also a Rams fan.
Also a Rams fan. Assume so. And Jonathan Alvarez, who's a member of ours for the past month. Jonathan, thank you for doing so.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Other than Colomb, the others have team control. Team control is going to be the name of the game, especially coming into this deadline. This is going to be the last thing I say about really these trades, is that if the Yankees trade for a prospect and you get a Duran or you get whoever else, and they do have 2 years, 3 years of control, well, that's one less thing to worry about heading into the offseason because the Yankees have a ton to worry about. They have to worry about how expensive is Cody Bellinger going to be. Now, mind you, I don't really care how expensive it gets. That money is their money, and they should be spending it to retain great players that are performing, especially as much as we say of he can't play in the Bronx, he can't play in New York, and then we trade for Cody Bellinger. And Cody Bellinger, we said, oh, I think it'll work out because his dad played there, and he'll probably just understand this whole nature. His dad's at the old timers game. It's going to make a lot of sense. And sure enough, he gets here, and he's been electric. This is a great player. So when you bring in players with control, it allows for more flexibility on the free agency market, more flexibility to bring in aggressive moves like Jake, the move that you wanted, and Alex Bregman. So if you want to make those type of moves, sometimes you do have to trade for players that have control that you don't just simply have to spend to get them here. You can't spend to get everyone here. Sometimes it's trades. Sometimes it's the draft. George Lombard Jr. will be here via that. These players have to get here another way. So I'm very interested to see. We've heard a lot, Jonathan, about the Yankees being interested really in players solely with control. And sure enough, they trade for Ryan McMahon, despite some of the reports, and go out and get a player, again, who has control, even if it's high price, $16 million a year. So very interesting stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure I want to control Ryan McMahon, but I guess we did mention earlier there was a bright side to it. Third base is now occupied. Let's move Lombard Jr. That's a good thing. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. That should be funny.
Yeah, and I think what I would say is I'm not against a rental if it's attached to control. That's what I would say. Like Coulomb, to me, if he's attached to Duran and Griffin Jacks or Jackson Nicks, that's his alter ego at this point. But no, if he's attached to Griffin Jacks and Duran, then by all means, I don't care that he's a rental. I think they'd potentially even bring him back. But no, I'm not against that. I just think the main focus should be guys with control. That's what makes them valuable. That was the thing that made Scott Efros valuable to the Yankees when they traded for him what feels like
Can you pull Donovan up, by the way? Because Apex obviously has the super. Thank you, Apex, for the 2.
It's so weird that the Yankees, like, where would he go? Because, I mean, I love him, but, like, where is Donovan? Where would he play? Unless Jazz Chisholm is going to move to shortstop and Donovan's going to take over at second base. I just don't get it. He's a lefty. So
Are you sure you don't want another bat that has no fit defensively? I mean, how many times are the Yankees, mind you, this is a good player. You'd think, and again, in a vacuum, Brendan Donovan, this would be a great player for the Yankees to have. You're right. It's because it would be. But you also have to consider who's already on the team. Jazz Chisholm's already on the team. Jazz Chisholm is also under contract. How many players can you put on one team? And the Yankees just continue to prove me wrong. I'm like, there's no way they'll bring in somebody at that position. There's no way that they'll overlap that.
If
and
they
then
get
we're
another
interested.
lefty, though, think about that. Their lineup would be... It's like, all right, the lefty's on the mound today? Yeah, he's got a 10 ERA. It doesn't matter. Yankees have no chance. Would he be a shortstop? I don't think he's not athletic enough to play shortstop.
Well, neither is Volpe, but he does it.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, you're right. But
he also can hit.
I love Donovan. I mean, it's not going to work out. This is exactly what I was talking about, though. This is why I didn't want McMahon, like Gary was saying. There are other guys out there that I preferred. And especially, I think Ke'Bryan Hayes, that was a miss.
Oh, by the way, you did actually handpicked you wanted Donovan, but that was when Jazz Chisholm, mind you, analytically was a great third baseman last year, and you projected, and I don't have a problem with you making this projection, it made sense, is that Jazz is going to stay over at third base and he'll be fine. But then all of a sudden, Jazz started to break down.
Threw him off, but I mean, he could have also, to be fair, and to your point, that position could have been taking a toll on him.
Right, so if you have to move him back to second base, you don't have the flexibility anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
To have Donovan on this roster, which is the beauty, by the way, to bring it all full circle. How much of a no-brainer signing Cody Bellinger is for the Yankees. A roster, if you think about what our biggest problem is, everyone keeps saying it's fundamentals, it's bullpen. You know, our biggest problem actually is that we're good all in the same position. That's actually the Yankees' biggest problem. It's all just stacked up on top of each other. And Cody Bellinger is the one player who can fix it all. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. The Yankees talked about it at the beginning of the year. But it almost seems like they're like, oh, yeah, we're just stuck over here in the outfield. But Cody can play first base. He's got a first base glove in his locker. So when I'm looking at this guy, and I obviously see Griffin Jacks on the screen, are you excited about this player?
I like him a lot. I do. The reason why I like him is because I think he complements... If you get Duran, he's different than Duran. He's going to hit you with the sweeper change. He's not a 100-mile-an-hour fastball guy. But you see the chase rate, you see the whiff rate, you see the K rate. You put him with Matt Blake. Good God, man, they could have something here. So,
can you imagine Ian Hamilton without Matt Blake?
I don't want to think about that. Yeah, I mean, really, the Twins. He was so spot on when he came on. I just think, the Twins are probably the best fit now that they already have the third baseman. I thought the Pirates were a great fit. Bednar, IKF, and IKF is still a fit, and so is Bednar, but Hayes was part of that. Now I feel like the Twins have 3 bullpen arms that could make the Yankees astronomically better overnight.
Yep,
they
got to cost a lot, and I'm willing to pay it.
They got a lefty rental who you could bring back after the year. They got Griffin Jacks, who's more kind of a craft off-speed pitcher. And then you got Duran, who is just an absolute flamethrower. And together, all those guys, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, now you're starting to build a scary bullpen. So, yeah, they could get 3 relievers, but I think the best 3 for them that make the most sense because you need a lefty, I think it's on the Twins. I think they should just
Minnesota,
make
who
the
do you
trade.
guys want? And I'll give it to you. I will trade the player to you. Name any prospect we have outside of Lombard Jr. and Spencer Jones, and you can stack them up. You can do that because regardless of how big that trade. What?
You would take all 3 relievers from the Twins?
No, not really. I would take them, but
do you like Griffin Jacks?
Not really. I don't love it. Do I think he's a good pitcher? Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. But I also remember that our biggest issue right now is people talk about our defense. They talk about positionally, right, in the outfield and all this stuff. Well, I want guys who are just going to go out there and just have wipeout stuff. I want to just miss bats, period.
Well, that's what he does. He's got 70 strikeouts in 45 innings.
No, I get that. But I'm just looking for a guy with high velocity. Like, I'm talking about a guy that's not trying to spin the ball to get outs. I'm looking for a guy to overpower. And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the reason why Duran is the attractive option for me. And mind you, like, Luke Weaver's doing the same thing. He's still getting his strikeouts, but he's not overpowering.
No, that's fair. But the whiff rate here, Jax is overpowering. And I think he'd be even better with, and you get some control with him as well. So, yeah, it's definitely, something that we'll have to keep an eye on. But I think the Twins are probably the best situation here. Do you have anybody that you would just, put it on the line right now? The Yankees are going to get this player?
No, I genuinely, I can tell you the Yankees are going to get 2 bullpen arms. I don't care what anybody says. They are going to do that. But when people say sell, they're really projecting we don't think we can make it. Brian Cashman's going to try to do both. He's going to try to take as little risk as possible. And he usually does that by taking on money. Well, you're not going to be able to take on money to go get Duran. You're going to have to give up capital. Brian Cashman's never done that. Never, not once. Not in his career, he hasn't. So given that, do I think he's going to cash in a chip? And because mind you, if you trade Jason Dominguez, that's a major play. That's a power move. That's I'm taking a stance on the future, right? And mind you, I'm not even telling you guys it's the right thing to do. I'm just telling you, either way you slice it, he's never made a big move. He's never done that before. So why should I think he's going to do it now? The selling idea is nonsense. Total nonsense.
But
the Yankees have to get better, and he's just going to try to get better without taking on any risk, and that's not going to help you get good enough.
That's fair. I could see Duran, Jax, and Willie Castro, because I don't think, or Duran, Kalum, and Willie Castro. And then, I think that would be a pretty big move, I think.
It would be a huge move, and that's why I don't think we're going to get it done.
But I think that was like the high end of what they would do. If I had to make a Yankees trade,
we gave up nothing for Giancarlo Stanton. Again, by the way, so Jay, thank you for getting involved in the chat. I'm very happy you're here.
Yeah.
We got Giancarlo Stanton for nothing. Matter of fact, Jake brought this up maybe about 5 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You brought up that Giancarlo Stanton received a contract extension from the Marlins just about a year prior.
Yeah.
Within a year,
the
Marlins said,
gonna happen.
We're ready to get rid of this player in the winter. And there were no rumors of it. Just took off for the Yankees. Does anyone remember who we sent? No, you don't, because it wasn't anything.
Starling Castro and...
Thank you.
That's all I can think of right
I thought there was one other player involved, if I'm not mistaken.
There was definitely another player. Let me see. Let's see. Giancarlo Stanton, Jorge Guzman, and Jose Devers, not to be confused with Rafael Devers. They did not send Devers.
We took Soto on because Soto was a rental. He wasn't Soto with control. If we had traded with Soto in Washington, that's a big trade. You have to give up a ton to get it. Stanton, we just brought him on because they didn't want the money. And we said, we'll take the money. It's just money. That's what we did.
We've
never made a big trade. The Yankees have never made a big trade in their whole careers. Never.
Highest ERA I've ever seen.
What is it?
32?
His whip is 6.
This is, well, to be fair, it's 1 and 2/3 innings pitched, but 32.40 ERA.
He's still 29.
Yeah, he hasn't pitched since 2021. I mean, it's not even to make fun of him, of course. It's just, reminding people. And then who's the other one? Jose Devers?
I'd trade Ian Hamilton for Jorge Guzman right now.
That's fair. All right. Jose, which one is he? Is it this? Probably this one. He has the picture.
Yeah, thank you. So we're starting to see this in the comment section. The Yankees have never made a big trade. They don't make big trades. They bring on big time players.
Here he is.
But they take on those players because there's some reason that team doesn't want them. Either they don't want the money, right? It's basically they don't want the money, and we'll take the money. That's why we acquire the players we acquire. But when it comes to making a trade, if they called us right now and said Jason Dominguez for Duran, Jax, and all this stuff, Brian Cashman would go, "Oh, I really want Duran and Jax, but will you take my number 6 prospect and my number 4 prospect?" And they say no, and they hang up. That's how the call is going to go. So I'm just telling you guys.
I liked Starlin Castro, but I'll take Sean.
Yeah, he's a solid player. Solid.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't played in a minute, but
yeah. But I mean, there weren't any Starlin Castro fatheads on anyone's walls. It wasn't a mega trade. It was we'll flip you Starlin Castro. He'll go play 3 years with you, and then see you later.
I don't think the Marlins were doing any of those that giant presser the Yankees had at winter meetings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they had him in like a Marlins jersey. Like, oh yeah, I'd like to deliver a speech. No, I don't think it was anything like that. What's the biggest trade that they've made before we sign off?
The biggest trade the Yankees have made?
In the Cashman
You're talking
era.
about players wise, not money wise.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you, James. Really appreciate that. Says hit the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Always helps us out. Thank you, James. Yeah. What is the biggest trade? And by the way, I would love if you guys would get involved in the comments. We will throw those big trades up on the screen right now. I would love to hear the biggest trade, Brian Cashman. When was the time you saw Brian Cashman lay it out on the line and say, I'm going to give up something big for that? And he executed. He didn't just talk about it. He didn't just tell you guys on Twitter or on Yankees.com or tell a reporter that we're scouting heavy on Murakami, that type of deal. Right? I took a private jet to go see him. That doesn't mean anything. You didn't get him.
It's the A-Rod trade. That would be the
Alex
biggest.
Rodriguez.
But I mean like recent, like within the Boone era, I would say.
Well, also, what year did we trade for A-Rod? Wasn't it 2004?
Something like that.
It's 2025.
David Justice was a pretty big trade when they got him over what was it, the Indians? Yeah.
Guys, look what you guys are putting in the comment section. Look at this. Hold on. Let's do this, okay? Let's throw this up on the screen. Again, guys, thank you for getting involved. Mind you, he didn't make any of these trades. Not any of these trades. He didn't make those trades.
They were all signed.
It's been confirmed to me by the players. He did not make those trades. Okay?
Well, no, he was signed. They were signed. No, they didn't trade for any of those guys.
Right. So this is the thing. We're also looking up. There is none, right? Soto was a rental, right? Soriano. You guys are legitimately, look at this. Look at this. Rizzo. Are you kidding me? Mind you, this was put on there. Jazz is the biggest trade recently, and it's not that big. Of course it's not that big. Of course it's not that big. Jazz Chisholm wasn't a big trade.
Like recently, what did they trade for? What's his face? James Paxton.
James Paxton.
Yeah, they traded.
A rental is a trade. That is absolutely correct. Steve-O, you are 100% on the money. The point is, you didn't have to give up big prospects or big-time players. And again, Michael King ended up being much better than we thought he was. However, we gave up much less than what it would have been if he wasn't a rental. He was a rental, so that's the reason we got him.
So this was one of the guys that they traded.
Then we tried to keep him for money. So again, back to the point.
Any relation, Gary?
No relation whatsoever.
So Justice Sheffield was part of that trade for James Paxton. So was Eric Swanson. Is that the Eric Swanson? It is. That is kind of funny. See, I thought he looked familiar because I used to follow. So Eric Swanson.
You know what we're learning?
Has
The
a
Yankees
15
have
ERA.
never. They're not making the Mookie Betts trade, right? We'll give you these prospects. Remember the Diego trade that the Dodgers made? We never make that trade.
Who was the other
Never.
one? Montas. Who'd they give up for that? They gave up J.P. Sears. They gave up Ken Waldichuk. What happened to him?
Look at this. Chapman trade was a big trade, let's be honest. We traded a player who was in a contract year reliever. We sent him to Chicago. We get back Gleyber Torres. And then we signed Chapman to money.
Wow, Ken Waldichuk is out of baseball.
Big trade. So it's just, that's our point. When the values are at their highest on both sides, the Yankees don't want to play.
Luis
Isn't that what we're
Medina?
learning?
Yep, not going to do it. What about Cooper Bowman?
Who?
He's still in the minors. What on earth is that? It's just they just
They're
don't
like
have a
gone but never
savant.
forgotten. Here he is.
That is so true, dude. It looked like an in memoriam thing. Okay. And then of course
You're
JP
typing
Sears.
players I have never heard of in my life.
JP Sears I've heard of.
I've heard of
but,
JP
you know,
Sears,
he's,
but I
he's
mean-
okay. I mean, you know. And then who's the other one? Oh, they traded with the A's for Sonny Gray. What did they give up in that? I know they gave up Mateo.
Oh, wait a minute. They gave up the outfielder who hurt himself. Remember on the fly ball? It was like
Oh.
Dustin. It was Dustin.
Dustin Fowler, yeah. That was
Yes.
sad.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. Dustin Fowler, James Caprilin. So what happened to Dustin Fowler? Okay, I don't think he's played since 2021. But to be fair, this was a while ago when they traded for him. And then James Caprillion.
Okay, so here's what we learn. If there's a player out there on the market that you'd say, well, is there any reason he's less valuable right now? Like any reason at all? Does he have injury history? Is he in a contract year? Is he disgruntled? Right?
Hey, there's Mateo at least. He's
Yeah.
in the league.
If there's not something wrong in terms of value to that player, like that team perceives him as less valuable and we see him as more valuable, if it's not that scenario, the Yankees are not trading for that player. Marlins, you get Giancarlo Stanton, the Marlins think he's not valuable to our organization because he's too expensive. Someone please come take him. Yankees are like, we'll do it because we don't have to give you anything for it.
Who did the
We'll just give him
Yankees
$300 million.
trade for Aroldis Chapman?
No, Aroldis Chapman. The Yankees had Aroldis Chapman, and they traded
They
Aroldis
traded
Chapman.
for Aroldis Chapman initially.
Did they?
Yeah, Caleb Cotham.
I don't even remember that we did that. But we ended up trading him to get Gleyber Torres because our system was so garbage.
because they got Adam Warren, and then they got who's the other one? Billy McKinney. Remember him?
Oh, yes.
So this is Caleb Cotham, who they traded away for Aroldis Chapman. Never really amounted to anything. Rookie Davis, who went on to pitch a little bit longer, but then he's out of the league. Good extension, though. Come on, it was right there. Tony
Wait,
Redda.
wait, he's probably sitting at the Thanksgiving table. He's probably just looking at his Savant page. He's like, look at that extension right up there with the Aroldis Chapman.
Tony Renda, I don't even know who this is. And then,
isn't it funny when you think of the majority of prospects that were considered good like 9 years ago? Majority of them are just like,
well, look at this guy.
Literally nothing.
In memoriam.
Also gone, never forgotten.
Eric Jagiello was literally picked. Look at this. 2013 first round, number 26. I bring him up all the time. He was picked ahead of Aaron Judge. He was picked ahead of Aaron Judge. And the other draft pick by the Yankees that was picked ahead of Aaron Judge in that draft, because they had 3 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know Rob Manfred would never allow that ever again. But the second guy that was picked ahead of Aaron Judge was Ian Clarkin, who was traded to the White Sox in that trade I brought up the other day for Todd Frazier, David Robertson, and Tommy Kahnle.
So I think it's safe to say the Yankees
looking thing is just killing me right now.
I think it's safe to say the Yankees are due for a mega trade. Is that safe to say, guys, that the Yankees perhaps should focus less on how much value they're losing and just focus on acquiring a highly quality asset, even at the top of their value? Something doesn't have to be on the bargain bin. Something doesn't have to be on sale to buy it. Sometimes when you walk into Louis Vuitton and you really want a bag, or you walk into Lamborghini, Murcielagos, they don't go on sale. So maybe you shouldn't wait to find a Murcielago broken down on the side of the road to acquire one. Maybe the Yankees should just go up at the top of the market and become buyers. Maybe that's the way that they should go about their business. And we haven't done that in a long time. And a lot of the contracts and a lot of the moves that people dropped in this comment section were 20 years ago, guys. And some of them were Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo, I really liked having him here, but that was not a blockbuster. That was a flyer. We think we can put some wind in his sails. And certainly he gave us a little punch there. I really liked him in pinstripes. But that's not a blockbuster. Nobody was shaking in their boots because Anthony Rizzo was traded to the Yankees.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it, and there really just hasn't been, like, they have gone for the big trade in the past, but I mean, it's like not with Cashman, though.
Yeah, and what you do end up hearing when people say, who's that player? Like, who is it? Skeens? Is it whoever else? Yeah. There's no telling who the player is. The one thing you know for certain is that player is eventually going to be out there. He just eventually will be. And in hindsight, when you see that player go literally anywhere else, do you guys expect, and be honest, the next blockbuster trade to simply be the Yankees? Is that what your expectation is? No, it's not. None of you expect that. Your expectation is he's just going to go to some other team, whether it's the Mets, the Dodgers, whoever it is. And then Brian Cashman's going to say, yeah, we were in and kicking the tires, but it was going to cost us so-and-so. So we just weren't comfortable doing that. That's what it ultimately comes down to every single time.
What was the J.A. Happ trade? What did they give up for that?
I have absolutely no idea, but we did get J.A. Happ, so.
Yeah, Brendan Drury and Billy McKinney. Oh, that's right, because then they had to go back and get Billy McKinney again for some reason.
Yeah, by the way, I want you guys in the comment section.
We can take Eric Jagiello's in memoriam down.
I want to get full screen. Yeah, kick him off. Mind you, people say Skeens will never happen. He'll put butts in the seats. No, Skeens will happen, just for another team most likely. And you just have to imagine at some point some superstar is going to get traded in baseball. It happens all the time. As much as you guys think all these guys are just not moving, none of them are tradable, they're just going to wait till the final year of arbitration, it doesn't work out that way. Players ultimately end up being traded. And the Yankees just find ways to get involved, but never in front. I want you guys to drop in the comment section. We are interviewing Jabba Chamberlain this weekend, and we cannot wait to have that conversation because it'll give our audience a snippet. Like, you're going to have an understanding of what an old school player is going to think, the mentality of an old school player. And I'm curious to what he's going to say, because it's not all going to be, I wish George were here. It's going to be deeper insight than that. It's going to be something of substance, and we can't wait to have that interview. And I do see this super chat here. I do not want to miss it. Big Ant, New York City, thank you for the 5. Says the Yankees should do a short reset and sell at the deadline. Obviously mentioning, I'm sure, Trent Grisham. They have too many holes to fill, and they won't go anywhere until Boone is gone. Now, mind you, if this did happen, I'm going to say this, Jake, and I'm curious what you think. If the Yankees did a little short reset, if there's a reset, you better be going to get Kyle Tucker. I'm not accepting a punt for 2025, and then we go into 2026, and you're talking to me about your prospects and your farm system. That can't happen. I need one or the other, please.
Yeah, I agree. No. I would be against a reset at all costs, because you were just in the World Series, and last year had some moments where you're like, this is the worst team in the league. So, yeah, I don't believe in selling. I mean, you also can't sell. You just bought Ryan McMahon. Like, you can't just sell now.
We just spent $16 million this year.
You just
to bring in a player,
invested in a player that's just, yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah, Mom, I know you were out at dinner, but your boy's still here grinding. yeah, we're still in this thing, and we appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. So I want you guys to drop in the comment section. Just drop in Jabba Chamberlain and any question that you would want to ask Jabba. We're going to be reading this comment section. We want you guys to get involved here. And of course, don't drop the question in the actual live in this little comment section you guys see here. As soon as we're done being live, hop back in the video. You probably just have to hit a refresh. Drop in your question. We may ask your question, and of course, we'll give you credit for that question during the interview. We're very excited for this interview. We're going to have to think of some good things to ask, whether it be about Volpe, whether it's about Brian Cashman. Let us know what you want.
And whether it's about Jabba, too. Like to know some of what went down and why.
Number 62, right?
Oh, that's a good question. I think
he was number 62. I think he was 62. But of course, drop in your question. It could be chosen for this interview. We're at least going to choose one. So please do
62.
that. Make sure you guys get subscribed to Yankees Unloaded. We are giving away a Yankees jersey at 10,000 subscribers. And of course, guys, make sure you like this video.